The next big question that will be on your mind right now is, how much can I earn? Well, firstly, it depends on your level of skills and how in demand those skills are. The higher your level of skills, the more potentially you can charge for them. Now, obviously, there are certain ceilings that you will struggle to get through. Now, it also depends on how rare your skills are. If you've got a skill set in something that's in fairly high demand, but there isn't a lot of people that can do it, then you're going to get paid very well for it. Now, what was it, 10, 15 years ago, about 15 years ago, when Windows NT 4 was out, when the MCSE was, or Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer exam, still was worth something, and people were, just starting to become aware of these. It was when Microsoft first started taking on the corporate market. What happened is there were very few qualified Microsoft Certified Systems Engineers, MCSEs. There weren't many on the market at the time. Now, I, at the time, was working in IT support, and I thought, that looks like a good thing to do. So I went off, and I mean, Microsoft at that time, in the corporate environment, was something that nobody really used, and people weren't really aware of it. But I'd seen it and thought, that's going to, Microsoft dominate the desktop. They're going to do the same to the corporate environment. So me being, a little smarty pants, thought, right, I'm going to go off and get my MCSE. And I studied like crazy. It's 7 exams, and at the time, it was actually really hard to do. So I studied like crazy, and I spent about 4 months studying. All I do in an evening is revise, play with the software, get to know it, build up my expertise in it. And I went out, and, took each exam and passed them all. And at the end of it, I thought, great, right, I've got my MCSE. I was in the job at the time, and I thought, right, I'm going to become a freelancer, and I'm going to go off and find some work. And I was taken aback. At the time, the average pay for a freelancer for sort of support work was around $50 to $60 an hour. Because I'd taken the time to get what was a rare skill at the time, the MCSE, I was being approached by companies who were offering me up to $150 an hour to go and work for them. Now, that's nice. That's very, very nice. So, of course, guess who went off to work for that sort of salary? So, if you've got rare skills, you can earn an awful lot of money, because people and companies and marketers will pay for those skills, and they will pay well because they know it's hard to find people with them. So the higher level of skill and or rare skill equals more value. So if you're very, very skilled in something that's quite rare, you're going to get paid a lot for when you do it. The downside of rare skills is there's usually not massive demand for them. But if you can get, if you have a skill like that and you have other skills as well, then you'd be well suited, because you can do some of the lesser well-paying work and then go and leverage your rare skill and really boost your earnings when you want to. Now, sometimes when you're starting off and building up a reputation, you may want to charge less. So you may want to say, right, well, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge you $300 for this package to start with, and then go up to $400 and $500, and increase it more and more. You may want to say, right, well, I'm going to start doing $8 an article, but I'm going to go up to $10, then $12, and then sort of $15 when I've got a lot of testimonials and skill. So that's something you may want to do. But you've got to think about the mindset as well here. You've got to think about what you feel you are worth. Don't go out there underselling yourself. Don't think, oh, well, no one will pay me that, because they will. You're worth it. If your quality of work's good, you're worth it. So go and get it. That's what you need to do. So, charge what you feel you need to. Charge what the market will bear. Charge what you're worth. But don't go underselling yourself, because you're not doing yourself any favours. But one thing to also consider is that offline, your skills may be worth more. Now, online, your web design skills may only earn you $20, $30, $40 an hour. You may not earn a massive amount, but the company up the road, they may want to pay you $2,000 to create a website for them that take you a day to do. So offline, your skills may be considered more rare than the communities you hang out in online. And you have to remember that online you compete in the global marketplace. So when you're bidding for work or coming up for work, it may be you, someone in Russia, India, Australia, Britain, all competing for the same piece of work. Now, in the USA, $20 to $25 an hour, that's reasonable. You know, that's what you'd want, maybe more. But if you're in somewhere like India, where the cost of living is much, much less, you know, you may be happy to do the same work for $5 an hour or $10 because you don't need to earn as much. So you can sometimes encounter problems, but we're going to talk about those throughout this, about how you can get around that. But one thing you need to understand is, how much will the market pay? You know, what is the maximum an article writer can earn? I mean, I could go and get articles written for $2 if I wanted, but the trouble is, they're going to be rubbish, and I don't want that. I want good quality articles, and to get good quality articles, that means I'm going to have to pay well. So I pay my article writers between $10 and $12 an article, typically. I have seen people charging $15, but to me that's a little bit high. $10 to $12 I'm happy paying. But you can understand by looking through the job sites at what work's available and what other people are charging, how much the market will pay. There'll always be a low end and a high end, and you typically want to position yourself somewhere in the middle to start with, and then push yourself up towards the higher end. As your quality of work increases, so you can move up to the higher end of the market. But you really need to understand, how much do you need to earn to live? You know, do you need to earn 20 hours a day, $20 an hour for an 8-hour day? Is that what you need in order to pay your bills and put food on the table? If that's the case, then you need to work out how to earn that amount of money. You may need to have an hourly or even a daily figure. How much do you need to earn a day on average, or a week or a month, to survive? You know, work out what your bills are for a month, divide it by 30, and that will tell you how much you need to earn per day, working 7 days a week. Divide it by 4 to how much you need to earn a week. But having an understanding of how much you need to earn will help you understand how much you need to charge. And then you can balance this with how much the market will pay to charge a fair fee that will ensure that you can afford to live and do the work. So from this, you can understand, calculate your minimum hourly rate. So if you're writing articles, you may realise that within an hour I can write 3 high quality articles. So at $10 an article, that's $30 an hour. And you may think, well, my minimum hourly rate to survive is $20. That's fine. But you do have to understand this. Again, a lot of people don't look into this. They just randomly randomly say, this is how much I'm going to charge, and just pick a figure and go from there. Now, depending on what's going to happen long term with the work, you may want to charge less. So if I know I'm going to get a year's worth of work out of someone, I'll give them a bit of a discount because I'm going to get that amount of work. So that's something you need to consider as well. You know, is it worth your while charging slightly less in order to get longer term work? And it can be difficult competing with people with a lower cost of living. Can be slightly difficult, but you can compete on quality and so on. You've got to remember, a lot of the time people in countries with lower cost of living don't have the quality of, say, English that you do. English is their second language, so you can compete on the fact that you're a native English speaker, which a lot of people really want. So let me give you a few tips for succeeding as a freelancer. Firstly, blow your own trumpet whenever and wherever you can. Always tell people how good you are, how good your work is, only if it's true, but make sure you blow your own trumpet. Don't feel you have to always compete on price. Price isn't the only thing that makes a sale. Compete on quality, delivery, timescales, and so on. Those are worth considering as well. Every single time you produce a project, always deliver outstanding quality. If you're not happy with what you've done, redo it and make sure you are. Because if you get a good reputation for quality, you can increase your prices. People pay for quality. Make sure you understand what your brief, what you've been asked to do. If you're not 100% sure, Ask them to clarify it so that you are sure. You don't want to spend a week working on something and then your employee turn around and say, that's not what I wanted. You've got to make sure you understand it and you produce it. You will be given deadlines. Make sure you meet them. Someone who repeatedly misses deadlines is not going to get repeat work. If you can always hit those deadlines, you are going to get more business. And always ask for feedback and testimonial from people. The testimonials you can use to help market your business and provide social proof that people know that you're good. And keep a database of your clients. When you find you've got a bit of slack time, you need a little bit of work, you can send a message out to your clients just saying, hey, I've got a bit of slack time, do any of you need any work? You could even send out something under the guise of, got a bit of a deal on at the moment, articles are now $8 instead of $10. You've got that opportunity to increase your work fairly quickly if you need to, simply by emailing your existing clients. So those are some tips to just help you succeed as a freelancer.